In this video, we're going to talk about grocery store defense and how you can turn everyday objects into barriers. So let's get started. So a lot of people think that self-defense starts with a weapon of some kind. Gun, knife, pepper spray, mace. It really doesn't. It starts with distance. Think about this for a minute. You're standing in a grocery store checkout line. What's between you and the person behind you? When you're walking to your car through a parking lot, what's between you and somebody approaching? The answer is nothing, of course. You've already given up one of your most powerful tools, which is distance. I've often said, you've heard it in other videos, distance is your friend. That's what we used to go with in law enforcement. The farther you are away, the safer you are, generally speaking. Sometimes you don't have a choice on distance based on the situation. Sometimes you can't help it, but many times you have options. Today, we're going to talk about how to use everyday objects, things you already have, to create distance so as to buy time and stay safer in transitional spaces. When that distance between you and the potential problem or attacker collapses or shrinks, your decision window shrinks or shortens, right? You don't have as much time to react. Most assaults happen within that conversational distance. Think about that person approaching in the parking lot asking that question. Hey, excuse me, do you have the time? Excuse me, do you have directions? Excuse me, do you have $5? They usually get, or they're trying to get, in that conversational distance. According to the FBI, the vast majority of defensive shootings are occurring at very close range, in that 3 to 7 yard distance. Many occur closer in that 0 to 3 yard distance. Not across a parking lot, not 50 feet away, but close, too close. That's why we talk about defensive shooting and how you're pretty much pointing and shooting rather than taking the time to aim with the sights on the gun, but that's a topic for another video. But the reason I bring up the FBI statistics, folks, is to show the importance of barriers and how they can play an important part of your personal self-defense skills and strategies. So when we talk about barriers, whatever it might be, if you think about it, a barrier does 3 things. It slows forward movement. 2, it forces a path adjustment of your would-be attacker. If you've seen the OODA Loop series, you're forcing them to reorient. Remember we talked about Colonel Boyd, who was a fighter pilot in the Air Force who came up with the OODA Loop concept. And when he talked about it, he explained that as it relates to fighter pilots, he stressed that if you can keep forcing your opponent to keep reorienting, that's how you win. Obviously, we apply the OODA Loop to everyday life and situational awareness. Same concept, same principle applies. And number 3, a barrier disrupts momentum, which is part of 2, of course, as it's forcing them to stop and reorient. So you're not trying to win the fight at this point, not necessarily. You're trying to create space to think and decide what to do next. So we're talking about a situation where someone's approaching you and you don't know why. They're asking for money, they're saying, excuse me, you're going to your car, they're approaching you. So at this point, it's not a self-defense situation, but it certainly could be. So the barrier you use might be your shopping cart. You're trying to create space to think and decide what you're going to do next. Or if you tell them I can't help you and they keep coming, what are you going to do next? This is that OODA Loop. Okay, there's a person approaching. I'm telling him I can't help him today, or I'm late, I'm sorry. Whatever you're telling him, you have to think in your head, if he goes away or turns around and walks away, then fine, you're good to keep going. If he keeps approaching, now you have to think about what you're going to do next. It might be going for a self-defense device like pepper spray or gel or mace, that strobe flashlight we talked about before, a taser or other conducted energy device, or concealed carry if that's legal where you live or where you are. Or you could just be thinking, I'm going to have to reposition myself in case I have to physically defend myself. It could just be that, which may or may not include striking. That's the OODA Loop in action, right? As a quick refresher, OODA, observe, orient, decide, act. So barriers support the act phase of the OODA Loop by giving you some breathing room so you can decide. You can decide. It could just be a second or two, but that can make all the difference. Criminals do look for easy access. They typically don't look for resistance. They want to avoid it, whether it's physical, for example, they think you are capable and may fight back, or that it's inconvenient, such as an obstacle or a barrier, something that's in their way. So let's start with the grocery store. That shopping cart that you're pushing, that you're using to carry all the stuff you just bought. It's not just a nice convenient tool for you. Think of it as a movable barrier. So when you're loading your car, instead of standing next to it or beside it, stand behind it. Meaning that use it to create a barrier between you and the parking lot or a stranger that might be approaching. So you can stand near your car, then you have your shopping cart, and then anyone who tries to access you has to go through the cart to get to you. If you're approaching your car in the parking lot and someone tries to close that distance, keep the cart between you and them. So if they're approaching from behind you and you're pushing your cart, I say you walk to the front of your cart and you start pulling it. Now you have your cart between you and them. And you can still, I'm sorry I can't help you today. You can still put that hand up. I'm sorry I can't help you today as you're moving. Now the cart's between you and them. If they keep approaching, you need to regroup and reevaluate and think, am I going for my pepper spray, my pepper gel? Am I gonna tell him to stop? Be forceful, use that voice, say, stop, I'm sorry, I can't help you today. Go in the store, ask somebody in the store for help. Doing that, putting that cart between you and them, you now have a physical obstacle. I'm not saying that somebody can't get around it or climb over it if they really want to, but it's a physical barrier that they need to extend their reach if they have bad intentions. They need to go around it or they need to reach over it. You now have a little extra time. Might only be a second or two, but maybe that's all you need. And don't forget that you can use any hard object in your shopping cart as a self-defense tool if you need to. Now let's talk about parking lots in general. In a previous video, I talked about the fact that I've noticed many more people sitting in their cars nowadays than before. They're probably waiting for loved ones or significant others while they're sitting on their phones. The smartphone allows people to sit there and watch video after video, check email, do whatever, send text messages. But the point is, I'm sure most are harmless, most. The point is they are an unknown to you and they could be a threat. You don't know. So leaving a vehicle or a row of vehicles between you and them and your car on your route to your car is a better option than walking directly past them if you have the opportunity to do that. You're creating that barrier between you and them. It's okay to walk a little bit out of your way for the sake of your safety. Now, once you get to your vehicle, remember that car door is not just an entry point into your car, it can also be a barrier. When you unlock your car, don't stand wide open with your back exposed without looking behind you. Open the door, stay on the hinge side, keep the door between you and the open space, and periodically look around while you're loading or unloading. So you're loading, you're periodically turning around to each side to make sure you have the car here, you're looking, you're turning around, you're checking, you're loading packages or you're unloading, whatever you're doing, you're periodically checking around you. If someone approaches unexpectedly, your door creates that obstruction and that delay. Again, more distance usually equates to more time. More time to go for a self-defense tool. More time to position yourself to physically defend against an attack, or to step inside your vehicle and lock the door. Here's something you can do next time you're out, folks. And we're talking about barriers here, creating barriers. So the next time you're out, practice your situational awareness positioning. So just ask yourself, what's between me and open space? What's between me and that person? Where is my exit? And when you think about these questions each time you go out, it doesn't take long, a few seconds, right? I guarantee you, it will build faster decisions later. So try to keep these things in mind. Think about a barrier. Do I have a barrier in place or can I create one? Think about distance. Can I create more distance here? Remember, distance is your friend. Think about movement. Where can I go if I need to? Should I move now or continue moving? Remember, walk into your car in the parking lot. Should you stop and confront or deal with a person approaching, or continue moving. Think about your decision making. What are my options here? And of course, action. And if necessary, if you decide you need to act, then you need to do it. In an upcoming video, I'm going to talk about the reactionary gap and how it applies to personal safety and self-defense. And please, folks, feel free to comment, share your stories in the comments below, especially when we talk about these barriers, if you've used a barrier such as a shopping cart in your experience, because I do think that these stories do help other people when they read them. And if you like this video, please hit that like button and share it. Consider subscribing if you're not a subscriber for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, take care, and stay safe.